Talking about pencils, by the way. Megan, let me tell you. There might be a miracle.
You're good. Sweet.
No, well, this is what makes me mad. I have a crap ton of pencils, but I have no lead or erasers.
That's not really a problem. I know. I don't know. Well, I know.
I had lead in it, and I had a nice eraser. Yeah, well, Algebra 3.
Pain. You're pain. Announcements and stuff here. Okay, so we go over announcements and Secrist be on shortly.
Oh, we can go.
Let me go over a few things with you. Anybody that's doing informational essay corrections, those are due on Friday. Please make sure that you let me know that you have either turned it back in or you can email me and let me know that. Resumes and references are due Friday. So I've had several questions about references the past 2 days. Again, I need you to have those added to your resume by the end of the week. So not a problem for you to ask teachers, coaches, neighbors, whatever it might be and stuff. Just make sure you get their information. That's fine that you write their information down. That's not a problem. You can do that. You're going to find it on your resume anyway. So that's perfectly fine. If you email somebody, make sure that you ask, please, can you please be a reference for me, because that obviously you're asking a favor from them. So make sure you say, please, would you be a reference for me. We have Mrs. Secrist on this morning. Mrs. Bradford will be on tomorrow morning. And then I have an interview on Friday, but it's not until 2 o'clock. So I will probably show that to you guys on Monday or anything. I'll have to post on Slack so you can watch it. Last item of business, I know some of you have some schedules ready for Mr. Davis. I am just making a big pile on my desk at the moment. So if anybody's ready to turn this in, I can take it from you. It is due to Mr. Davis tomorrow. Okay, don't delay. Make sure you get those. So,
I do.
okay.
I got it. 1 second.
All right. Does anybody have anything for me today? Looking good?
This one was first matter.
So. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll just wait for her to have fun then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get my grip on it.
Really nice.
I didn't know.
She's not gonna embarrass you, Molly.
You guys go outside yesterday?
Yes.
There?
No. Molly doesn't go outside. I can't even get it's not outside. You know, I was actually outside with Molly.
Got my bill?
I'll be eating today, so.
I watched the first half, but then I was like, oh, they were pretty hard to.
The only one I know is
Only thing Hannah has ever done. They almost let me go.
well, she's gonna tell us what happened every time.
Oh, yeah. Making sure I'm not missing it yet.
Yeah, I sent Timmy a picture of him. I told him to get a stash like that.
No, Owen has stuff like that's Owen. All right is going like this.
Owen does?
No, it's
Yeah, not Owen. All right.
He said he wants to.
It's like you had a weird.
This was an April Fool district, I'm pretty sure, by this company, but you know how there's those magnetic eyelashes you can get now that like go on your eyes, so they were joking and saying that magnetic mustaches now for men.
Wait, magnetic
It was a
mustache?
joke for April Fool's Day,
Oh,
but
man.
he's like, what do you think about it?
How does magnetic eyelash here?
There's something in that liner.
Magnetic mustache.
Oh,
Do you think you gotta grow a mustache? You wanna just like loose
that's not always on it. I have them.
It's the most common in human type. There are some that have like a certain liner that you use that they stick on, but.
Why do you get eyelashes?
It's just some people have like.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good today.
Good. I think I just need to have you flip your video on whenever you get a chance, and I think we're good.
I need to, you see me? There we go.
Hey.
I'm not that familiar with Zoom, but got it.
Well, thanks so much for coming today. I appreciate it.
No problem.
We are just waiting on the announcements for the morning and stuff, so we'll get started as soon as those come on. So you're welcome to relax for a few minutes, and we'll get started here as soon as those come on. So
Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
thank you.
Good morning, Open to all 8th grade. High school concert is holding a open gym this Thursday, April 8th, from 5 to 7 in the high school band. Come check out what colors are kids before tryouts this spring. Please try something new for your friends. There's no pressure. We will learn flag moves and even a routine. Hope to see you there. Any questions? Please be Mrs. Hayes and Danger. For lunch today, cheeseburger, French fries, fresh baby carrots. Include your nuts. Have a great day.
Okay, good timing. We literally were just doing announcements, so all right. So, well, thanks so much for joining us today. I'll turn you around so you can see everybody here real quick.
Okay.
It's mainly just me here and stuff. So, but there's everybody. Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
So, all right. Well, for our interview, the kids have put in some questions, as well as I've just got some questions that I usually ask people that are stopping in to be our career speakers. So I'll just start off with a very easy question for our interview today, and that is, can you tell us a little bit about your profession and how long you've been in it, and what are some things that you enjoy about your profession?
Okay. First off, my name is Susan Secrist. I'm Molly's mom. I'm the investigator for the Hancock County Public Defender's Office in Findlay. Next week will actually be my 25th year here. So I've been here quite some time. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to college. I knew I wanted criminal justice. This kind of fell into my lap after a couple years after college. What I like about it is it's always something different every day. I'm always talking to different people from different walks of life, and I like interacting with people. I like helping them out. It's very satisfying at the end of the day.
That's awesome. Yeah. So can you tell the kids a little bit about what your job looks like on a daily basis? What are kind of the things that you usually do, every day for your particular profession?
Okay. Well, as you guys learned this year, the Sixth Amendment is what created my job, the right to an attorney. So at a public defender's office, I'm not an attorney, but I work under the attorneys as the investigators. So what I do is I interview everyone. I make sure that they qualify for a public defender. So your right to an attorney is if you can't afford one. Attorneys are very expensive. You don't get insurance to help pay like doctors or anything. So My first job is to, we have clients come in that are charged with something. I make sure that they financially qualify. So, I'm doing math, everyday math, that sort of thing. And once they qualify and we don't have a conflict with them or anything, because we're, representing someone else, what I do is basically just interview them. I get their background, what they've been charged with, and their side of the story of what happened. It's important for us to get that just so we know, where they're coming from. And lastly, what I'll do is I'll explain to them, what's going to come up as far as court dates, what the attorney's going to do for them, what the next step is. Get them going in the right direction is what they, what their next step could be, whether it's like maybe check out counseling, that sort of thing. So I kind of ease their mind and get them going. I usually do, maybe up to 10 appointments a day where I'm talking to different people. Before the pandemic, I was going over to the jail and talk to the inmates that are in there. And then I, put a file together and, get it going in the right direction. And in between all those appointments that I have, I'll talk to witnesses. So if a case is coming up for trial, I'll talk to the people that are involved in our defendants. Those are the people that are charged with things, the defendants' cases. So anybody they want me to talk to or the attorney wants me to talk to, I'll follow up with them and get statements from them.
Okay, very cool. So as far as the people that you're talking to and interviewing, and I mean, obviously these are people that, have been charged with something. What kind of offenses do you see on a daily and weekly basis? Like, do you have very minor offenses, very major offenses, a little bit of both, or?
A little bit of both. Up until about 2 years ago, I was doing everything that came through Finley. A couple years ago, we actually were able to hire someone else that handles pretty much just the misdemeanor cases, which are a little less severe. Like, it's still very traumatic for people, don't get me wrong, but like DUIs, drinking and driving, petty thefts, underage consumptions. So that kind of shifted the more serious stuff onto me, where I'm dealing with the felony cases. So I'm dealing with the drug cases, thefts, rapes, murders, and then I also handle the juvenile cases. So juveniles, we can take all the juveniles. So no matter how minor, whether it's a curfew violation or whether it's something more serious, like a felony or misdemeanor. So I talk to all the juveniles and then all the felony cases.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's a very wide range of cases that you take on there. So that's awesome. We've been talking a lot about, since we've been talking about careers here the past couple of weeks, some of the things that are needed in our professions. And I think you've highlighted a few things as well. But if somebody were to, if any of our students were to look into the profession that you have, what would you say would be some of the top skills or classes or just any education that might be needed to enter your profession?
Well, like I said, I use basic math. That's not too bad. English, because I'm writing out reports for the attorneys, I'm interviewing people. Obviously, you need communication skills. You have to understand these people are more nervous coming in seeing me than I am of them. In college, I had to take a lot of psychology and sociology classes. It's basically just learning how people are and learning to be a patient person and try to relax them a little bit. And patience is a very good skill in this.
With any profession, but I'm sure a lot in yours, that's for sure. Yeah.
These people are very frustrated. They're upset with themselves a lot, upset with the police a lot. And sometimes if they're just really upset, I'll just sit there and nod my head and agree and, not try to rile them up more. But communication is a big thing, not only with clients, but with attorneys in the small office that I'm working with.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good one. So I'm going to pause and see if the kids have some questions for you so far. So what questions have you thought of so far? There we go. Emily, go ahead.
What's the hardest case you've had?
So, and obviously won't be able to mention names and stuff, but Emily's wondering, what is one of the hardest cases that you've tackled?
Hi, Emily. The hardest cases are always the, unfortunately, the rape cases, dealing with kids. And we've had a couple murder cases. I think the hardest ones are also dealing with kids. Unfortunately, I've had to see autopsy pictures. Those don't leave you. Those kind of stay with you. But I think I do a good job keeping my work at work, because I think if I took it home with me and I thought about it a lot, I would end up very upset all the time and angry all the time. And I keep everything at work. So, I mean, yeah, those cases are probably the worst if you start thinking about them and thinking, you know, what people actually do to each other. But the majority of the cases, it's good people that just make a bad decision. And that's what I have to remember. It's a lot of times great people that just, you know, messed up for one day. But yeah, there are very bad people out there, and they're few, but there are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on the flip side of that, has there been a case or anything along that line that you felt had a good outcome to it, like somebody that, you know, was able to turn their lives around and you were able to watch that happen, or anything along that line?
Trying to think what it was. It was about 2.5 years ago. We had a trial where I did a lot of legwork on it. The attorney was very eager. It was a case where basically a man was defending his home. Unfortunately, the person that was, you know, coming in was killed, and we were actually able to successfully get a not guilty. And it was the right choice for the jury. I was very happy with that outcome. I feel like justice was absolutely served. You know, I felt after doing it, the cops didn't really want to charge him, but they were kind of had to. And I think that worked out for the best. And the good news is we haven't heard from the guy since. So I think, you know, things are going good for him.
Yeah.
So that's
good. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I was like, I'm sure those are very difficult cases and stuff.
Yes.
Where I'd say trying to defend, you know, property and those kind of things. So yeah. All right, well, let me pause and see what other questions we have so far. So, Maddie. What's the strangest thing you've had to deal with? The weirdest thing?
Strangest. I take it as like normal every day, but I guess it would be strange to somebody else. I guess I have too. It's just the normal people that think that we've represented them so much that they're so comfortable coming up here and just walking into our offices and things. And you have to understand that they don't have social cues that prevent them from doing that. And there comes that patience again, where you just have to understand that it's fine. They're harmless, no big deal. The strangest thing, I wanted to include this story because this is always funny. And I have so many people that come in that have charges of drugs. And one of their favorite stories is, and I don't know if they spread it among each other, but they always say that the drugs that are found in their pants, they're not wearing their pants. They're somebody else's pants. I just picture them waking up in the morning and there's just rooms full of pants, and they just grabbing a pair of pants, putting them on, and lo and behold, there's drugs in the pants.
Amazing.
Well, nobody believes that. I don't wear anybody else's pants but my own. So that's a strange thing, because I for a while there I heard it over and over and over again. It is like, nobody believes you. Just tell me the truth and we'll move on.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I feel like any shows that I've watched, it's always like, oh, these aren't my pants, you know, and stuff. And yeah, it's like, really, no, we've got to try another angle here. So yeah. There was another question that I had a bucket that I've had the kids put some questions in. So yesterday, so this is from some other classes as well. But they were asking, as far as like you've talked about your cases, the interesting cases that you've dealt with and stuff. Has there been any situations where you lose my train of thought here and stuff? So any cases where you kind of thought that you were, well, how do I phrase it? Sorry, I'm just kind of rephrasing it in my head here. So any cases where maybe you were a little bit scared of the outcome? Was there anything that was kind of like, ooh, I'm kind of scared of the situation? Or I feel like I'm phrasing it differently this morning, but just something that maybe kind of made you feel a little bit scared in your, you know, in your situation?
Yeah, there's been some domestic violence cases that
Okay.
We did have one that it escalated to a lot more.
Yeah.
That concerns me, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's the judge letting the person out of jail or something like that. But relationships, when people get domestic violences, which is basically a fight with family members, if somebody doesn't know what domestic violence is, those can get out of hand really quick because there's a lot of emotions with that. And there has been a couple where I've been concerned, maybe not for me, but more of the other person. Yeah. As far as, you know, interaction in the office, I don't think I've ever really been too scared of anybody. I don't think there's been a whole lot of altercations with anybody in the office. There's been a couple where, you know, I've had to tell people like, well, hey, you don't qualify, you make too much money. And they've gotten mad about that. But yeah, I mean, there are some scary things, but they're few and far between.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So yeah, I was just some of the questions were kind of referring to that. Sorry for my weird wording on that question.
Oh,
I was trying to think of the best way to phrase that there. So I know that you work with a lot of different people in your job. And we've talked a lot about in our career findings and stuff here the past couple of weeks, how it's necessary to work with people effectively in order to get the job done. So you've mentioned a few people already that you work with, but what are some people that you interact with, even on a daily or weekly basis, that it's important to be able to communicate well with them in order to effectively do your job?
With my attorneys, first and foremost, they have to know what's going on with their cases. So I make sure I get very detailed notes. Sometimes they're probably too detailed, but they appreciate it and they know where I'm coming from because I've worked with a lot of them for so long that I think they appreciate it. Sports staff, obviously, we work hand in hand. We have a lot of cases that intersect, like where somebody might be charged with a petty theft, but then later is, you know, stopped in a car and getting charged with a drug possession. So we're working like how to coordinate the cases so, you know, we can resolve it well. So yeah, my staff is there's about 11 people here, 10, 11 people here. I work with, you know, corrections officers calling over for inmates, counselors. I just talked to the jail counselor yesterday to make sure that someone at the jail got some help. So, you know, I have to make sure, you know, I'm relaying the proper information to her and everything. You know, judges assistants, to let them know what's going on, or if we need help with something, or what do we have to file, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of people on a daily basis that I'm talking to, you know, whether it's email, talking on the phone, or seeing them in person. There's quite a few, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. Other questions so far? Laura? I can come back too. I've got another one for her. So.
Okay, so you know, most people normally like lie on stuff like that. Like, did you do all these stuff and I told this person? No, I didn't do that. Well, is everyone like, oh yeah, all of that. I did all of that.
That's a good question. Okay. So Laura was asking, like, she gave the example, like, it seems like, you know, especially, you know, a lot of the shows that we watch and stuff, people come in and they're like, you know, well, did you do these things? Did you do these drugs, or did you do this offense and stuff? And they're always like, no. She's wondering, has anybody ever just blatantly said, yeah, I did all these things?
And that was Laura?
Yeah.
Hi, Laura. Okay. Yeah. And you know what? Those are the people I appreciate more. I basically started out, I tell them, I'm not here to judge you. I just want to be able to help you. I need the information, you know, so the attorney can help you. And most of the people, honestly, will tell me, yeah, I did it. And this is how it happened. And, you know, honestly, it's easier to help the people that just tell me what's going on instead of trying to make up a story like it's not my pants. Because I want to help them. I want to help them more because I can appreciate them just being honest with me and, just telling me the truth. And it's, there are some innocent people out there that are telling me the truth. And, before the pandemic, it was much easier because we were meeting with people face to face. Now we're doing a lot more phone interviews. So it's harder for me to gauge truthfulness a little bit more. But yeah, more people will tell me that they did things rather than not. But, it's also all confidential. So whatever they do tell me isn't, they're not getting in more trouble. I'm not charging them with anything like that. It's the people that just want to argue with you and make you do all these things for nothing. And in the end, they just like, yeah, well, I did it. Those are the frustrating ones, but you know what? I'm going to help them just the same. It's just a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah, I bet. My question that I was going to ask next was actually, you started to touch on it here, and I've been asking our speakers about how COVID has changed their jobs a little bit over the past year or longer than that now. So what aspects of your job have changed a little bit since the pandemic started? Okay, well,
yeah, so basically we haven't had anybody come into the office really. We've been doing everything by phone, which is a little bit harder because they're doing other things. I had a person yesterday I was talking to that was at work that was trying to do work things and talk to me at the same time, which I understand he's trying to make a living, but it was really frustrating because I want his attention to be able to explain stuff to him. So I wish people were a little more focused when they were doing phone appointments, but yeah, phone appointments, we haven't had many people come in. For a while there, we were doing a lot of Zoom hearings where the judges would just have people get on the computer and do stuff through that. On very serious cases, though, I would still go over to the jail because, even though they're talking on the phone, it is all confidential. They record those phone calls, but they cannot use them against them. They can't anything. There's still too many people around that would hear the conversations that, on a more serious case, I'm going to go to the jail and talk with them face to face. So, yeah, it's been very quiet around here. So
pluses and minuses to that, but yeah, that's for sure. So yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, what other questions do we have, guys? We got a couple more minutes here. Holly, go ahead.
Are there any cases that you've had that you hoped you would lose that you answered be guilty for?
Oh, okay. Are there any cases that you've been on that you really hoped that the person would be guilty just based on the things that you'd heard? Like you were kind of
that would be guilty?
That would be guilty. Yeah. Like, were you kind of rooting for that guilty on a couple of them? Was there some ones that you felt very strongly that they should be charged?
I've gotten more and more liberal over the years. So some of that's, I think the more violent ones, where you see all the evidence, I kind of touched on, I've we've handled where people have killed each other. When you see autopsy pictures of little kids or even adults, it sticks with you, and it's hard, that they're guilty of something. I felt so strongly about the more violent ones. On some of the lesser ones, I always kind of believe in karma, where, well, if they get off on this one, if they're really a bad person, it's going to come back to them. They're going to do something stupid in the next year that, and prosecutors don't forget. They'll remember, oh yeah, that's the guy. It kind of takes care of itself. And I think justice is pretty fair in Findlay. I think for the most part, and the group of attorneys that we have here do a really good job of getting it done at the end of the day and making sure everything is balanced.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That was a good question. I like that. So, what other questions do we have, guys? We're gonna start wrapping up here shortly. Emily, go ahead.
Have you ever had a case of serial killer?
Have you? We're a little extreme. I don't know about this one, but any cases with anybody that you would label as a serial killer?
No, I don't think we've, I think those people are all locked up, thankfully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't think there's anybody traveling through Findlay. I mean, Findlay has, over the 25 years I've worked here, has had, unsolved cases. Maybe it was somebody passing through that is a serial killer, but, there's been some that haven't been charged with things. I like to think that, the police take care of that and get a hold of the people and arrest them before they go on to doing serial killing. But I don't think I know any. I don't think I know any, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So very good. All right, guys, any other final questions?
Nothing from Molly there? No?
No. As she squirms in the front row.
Oh, yeah.
Was that, so Molly was telling us that you were going to tell us a funny story. Was the pants story the funny thing, Molly? Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so it was the pants story that you were talking about there. So yeah.
I had run some things by her, so yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. So, well, my last question for the day is just any advice to those who are seeking a profession in your area in the future? What advice would you have for them? Networking is important. Whether it's, I didn't know when I was in college what I wanted to do with my criminal justice degree. I did an internship, so internships would be very important too. And that's actually how I got my first job. I worked at the Bowling Green Municipal Court for a couple years. And then this kind of fell into my lap, thankfully. And I've been very happy, obviously, because I've been doing this 25 years. Networking, learn to communicate with people, learn to have patience with people, bite your tongue. But yeah, I mean, I think just networking and communicating is very important to it. Yeah, I can't. Internships are very important too, whether it's, you're doing an apprenticeship or, if you're doing a trade, doing trade, or whether you're in college, do an internship, because that'll get you the experience. You may not get paid, but you get so much experience and you put it on your resume, and that's just another plus, because when we're looking to hire people, that's what we're looking for is, maybe not, 25 years of experience, but we want somebody that has, any sort of skills that you're going to use in your job. So yeah. Absolutely. And that's great timing, because we actually just talked about that yesterday when we were working on some resumes, was just the skill sets that we're able to bring to the job. And yeah, like you said, even if it's not a paid internship or anything like that, the experience is first and foremost one of the biggest things to get you into those careers. So yeah, I love that you echoed that. That's awesome. So, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, but thanks so much, Mrs. Secrist. I really appreciate your time. I've been very thankful that a lot of people have been able to donate their time the past couple of weeks to speak to our kids. And I think this will be a great interview for them to watch to really get interested in your profession. So. All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.